This Liberty Sports Update is brought to you by Beacon Credit Union.
There are 19 Liberty Spring Sports seniors who have expressed an interest in returning next year, and we're very excited to be able to afford them the opportunity to continue their student-athlete experience here next academic year. These student-athletes are leaders in their respective programs, and we look forward to them making valuable contributions and thriving athletically, academically, spiritually, and socially here at Liberty in 2020-21. So we're grateful to President Falwell for his leadership and to Dr. Ritz for his support of this initiative. This is very good news during a challenging time and certainly encouraging to our spring sports student athletes and coaches. So these seniors left with some unfinished business, and we look forward to them having the opportunity to complete their collegiate careers and achieve their dreams and goals next season.
All right, with that, we'll open it up for questions. If you have a question, just identify who you are and who you're with, and go ahead.
Amy and Sordelet with the Lynchburg News in Advance. Ian, a lot of the scholarship money-wise, is this gonna go into the scholarship fund for the upcoming season, or are you guys adding to that to be able to accommodate everyone?
Yeah, so we're going to allocate funding for these 19 spring sports student athletes who are returning within our current athletic financial aid budget. So it will be above the sports scholarship limit, but will be within our total athletic financial aid budget.
Again, I'd ask if you're not asking a question, please mute your microphone on your computer. I can hear someone. It sounds like there's music or something playing. Thank you. Okay, we're still taking questions here for Ian McCaw.
Ian, do you have a list of the 19 or how they vary through sports?
Yeah, let's see, we have 8 men, 11 women, the different numbers per sport, and maybe let the coaches talk about a couple of the individuals, but we had 39 spring sports student athletes on scholarship, and again, 19 of the 39 are the ones that have an interest and desire to return.
What was the overall reception that you got from the seniors once you had a chance to talk to them and gauge what they wanted to do with the next year?
Really, we primarily had the coaches do that and just provide us the information. So I haven't personally spoken with the seniors. I've really more been interacting with the coaches and the administrators in terms of dealing with this issue. But certainly there was a lot of enthusiasm on the part of our coaches and expressed from our student athletes as well for the opportunity to do this. And as we've seen, not every Division I institution is affording their seniors this opportunity, so we're grateful to be able to do that.
When you've had a chance to talk with other athletic directors around the country or even in the ASUN, how challenging of a situation is this, trying to balance the scholarship funds that are available and then figure out creative ways to make sure that you can bring these students back on the same level of scholarship, whereas some might tell them, we want you back, but we can't give you a scholarship.
Yeah, and there are a number of schools, including some Power 5 schools, that have not offered this opportunity to spring sports student athletes. And again, I think we're really fortunate the position we're in right now. Everyone is looking at this through a different lens, just based on their circumstance. And again, we're in a fortunate position to be able to have this funding available. And we are very much a student-athlete-centric athletic program. We want to serve our student-athletes well, and we feel like this is the right thing to do. And again, fortunate to be able to be in this position.
Got time for a couple more here for Ian if anyone else has anything. If not, we'll move forward to our coaches and student athletes.
Now, this one is for Scott Jackson. Scott, when we talked on the phone, I think it was the Saturday after the announcement, you said any seniors that come back would make for probably the best recruiting class you can get. How has that fared for you? We see Cam obviously is coming back. What does this mean for the program to get a guy like Cam and maybe a couple other guys coming back?
Yeah, I mean, to be specific with our program, Damian, we're going to get Cam Locklear and Trey McDyer back. We're ecstatic. They're incredibly high character kids. They embody, not just our program, but our school and the way they carry themselves. And, when you get kids like that back in the locker room, man, that's a big, big deal. Those two have been with us since our coaching staff arrived here, and they've been just a huge part of building a program. And to have those guys to be able to mentor, to have those guys to be able to point to them and say, here's how you practice, here's how you carry yourself. They're both, above a 3.0. I mean, how much time do we have? I'll keep talking about them. I love those guys. We're ecstatic.
What's been your talk around baseball? Because there's been a lot of interesting variables. Baseball funding per se with assistant coaches, number of scholarships for those guys. But for this ruling, for you to get these guys back and to be able to add on to carry a little bit more scholarship, what does that do for a baseball program?
Yeah, well, I'd like to first, I think this speaks to Liberty first and foremost. You can talk about the landscape of the country, but, we're all a little biased here. But when it comes to saying, hey, we're going to commit to the student-athlete experience, and we want that to be holistic and, to be cut short the way it was for most of them, that just kind of leaves you a little bit empty. And I think, being able to put some closure to this and to have those kids back and Liberty to say, hey, we're gonna put our best foot forward here and make sure that the experience that these kids get is what it should be. And so let's start there. As far as college baseball and the rest of the country, I mean, I think I'd be speculating as to what is going to happen. The roster limit's going to be increased. I think, in looking at it from an NCAA perspective, I think you just have to go, let's go with next year. Let's get next year in place. And then we all know with the 27 on scholarship and a 35-man roster, there's probably going to have to be some flexibility built in, maybe beyond 2021. But, for right now, I think that's the best way to kind of look at this is, hey, let's get things in place for next year. Take a deep breath, see where this thing kind of ends up. And then, from there, we'll see what happens. But it's got some far-reaching impact beyond just the next year.
Coach, as we're taking questions here for Coach Scott Jackson, head baseball coach, it's Nick. I've got one here for you. What were those conversations like when Trey and Cam and found out that they were going to be able to come back for sure here?
Well, I didn't want to say, hey, I need to know something right away. We sat and talked about it. I had all four of them in the office, and we just kind of laid some things out there. I circled back and met one-on-one with them, and I think there was a lot to process at that age, at that point, and hey, what's going on here? They all have options, which I think is wonderful. That speaks to, the type of kids they are. That's what you want. You want options. Hey, maybe I can keep playing, or I've got some things that I've, continue to pursue academically. So the conversations were unique, but, when Trey called and said, hey, I'm coming back, just a feeling of, from a coaching standpoint, a little bit of relief, more excitement. Cam's was a little bit more in detail there. I can maybe let him speak to that, but he did call me. It's been about 10 days, and when you get your shortstop back and he's a senior, you can imagine, the excitement that we all had here in the office, and to share with my assistant coaches is pretty cool.
Maybe you could speak a little bit to Garrett Price and Ben Highfill, and certainly going to miss those guys.
Yeah, I'm not good at goodbyes, so I told those guys, eventually here, I want to have them back. I want to recognize them maybe before our home opener next year. I've already kicked around some ideas. Those were tough ones, but they were both at peace with this. They said, I feel really good about my career. I feel really good about where I am. More importantly, where I'm going, what God's plans are for me. And, for Ben, he had already turned down Duke grad school last year. And so he felt like if he told them no again, then maybe that opportunity would go away. I even offered to call and try to help him if he wanted to keep playing. That's what you do. You do the right thing. And, he said, you know what, I'm going to be so busy, I'm not going to play at Duke. So I'm just, I'm going to focus on my academics. Garrett's getting married. He had everything lined up and everything, in the direction he wanted it to go. And it was really tough on Garrett. He had a lot of time and just a lot of tough, I think, decisions to make, some conversations with his family. And, I think he felt like being there for his wife and kind of continuing, or his fiance who will be his wife, and kind of continuing to pursue those plans that they had made, was best for him. So we're going to miss him, man. We're going to miss him.
Got time for one or two more for Coach Jackson if anyone has anything. If not, we'll move on to Cam Locklear next. All right. Well, I think that's going to be it for Coach Jackson. Coach, we appreciate you joining us here.
Thank you, guys.
All right, so moving on next, we've got Cam Locklear with us, Flames shortstop. And Cam, we're just excited to hear the news. I'm sure you are as well. And tell us a little bit about your decision and why this made sense for you to come back.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me. And, yeah, I'm extremely grateful for the opportunity that the NCAA gave us. Basically, it was really up to the Air Force, and I was going to have a year and a half wait actually getting into pilot training with this whole coronavirus deal. And besides, going out there and getting a part-time job or doing something like that, it was my parents were fortunate enough to allow me to go back and come back to school. And so it's something that I was super happy about and super blessed to be able to do. And I'm just very excited and want to continue to play ball at the highest level and things like that.
Questions for Cam Locklear?
Cam, being from a military family, what was the discussions like, especially with your dad, regarding whether to kind of get prepped for a military career as a pilot in the Air Force versus enjoying yourself for one more season as a college student and be around those guys in the locker room?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it kind of came up to the demands of the Air Force, and fortunately, the way the time circumstance worked out, it allowed me to actually come back to school. There was no position actually ready for me quite yet, but there will be. So just the timing aspect of it ended up perfect, and that's the biggest reason why I'm coming back for fifth year.
And what specifically are you doing with your pilot program? Or what will you be doing?
So I got hired there in the 701st Air Force Reserve Squadron down there in Charleston, South Carolina, flying the C-17. And so I would have to go and basically go through and get commissioned through the Air Force, through officer training school, and then go to UPT and things like that.
How much are you going to enjoy the year?
Say it again. I'm sorry.
How much do you enjoy one more year?
Oh, I'm kind of everything with this whole coronavirus thing just got ended so abruptly. I remember being down there at West Virginia, and it just stopped so suddenly. I've been playing this game for 20 years now, or close to it, and for it to end like that, which it would have left a sour taste in my mouth. So, being able to come back and go out the right way and be able to enjoy this last season with my family and just enjoy this game of baseball because it's such an enjoyable game. And just being able to have that closure is just going to be awesome.
And knowing that you're going to get one of your double playmates back as well with Trey McDyer, I mean, is that exciting?
Yes, sir. Yeah, he's a stud, and he's a big part of that team, and he's definitely glue in that locker room, and just a great team guy. So we have a lot of memories and a lot of fun, and it's been fun just rolling with him for 4 years now.
Anyone have anything else for Cam? All right, Cam, appreciate you joining us, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, with that, we're going to continue to move forward. We've got Carly White with us from the women's lacrosse team. Carly, thank you so much for joining us. Tell us a little bit about what this decision means for you and the kind of options that you have now.
Well, I actually was waiting a lot for today to find out what the money looked like and things like that. Because I know me and a lot of my teammates are responsible for paying for school, and I personally didn't want to take out loans or anything like that. So that was a big deal. So actually, and a few of my teammates haven't decided yet, but I definitely am leaning towards staying, just because it feels so unfinished. And I was originally planning on going back for my master's in counseling anyways. So it all kind of makes sense to stay. And I was going to look for a GA position or internship with our LU Shepherd office, but I hadn't applied yet before all this happened. So I've kind of just been in this limbo of like decision making and also just grieving the loss of the season.
Questions for Carly White?
Carly, your coach went through a pretty detailed account of how the season ended and the tears in the locker room of having to learn the season was over. How much does this help that you have an opportunity to finish something that you may feel was unfinished?
Well, it's awesome, first of all, because I know that a lot of other girls who are seniors who played aren't going to have this opportunity. And I think sometimes having options makes it really hard. Sometimes you just want your decision to be made for you, but also like you have to recognize you're getting an opportunity that a lot of people aren't. And so weighing that, I'm really excited and hopeful about it, I guess. But it also leaves you in this place until you decide really of like how you're supposed to feel about it. And also just like Cam, you also know everyone's not coming back. And so you lost like this team, like this year's team is lost, not lost, but like your time was cut really short with these specific girls all in the same locker room. Because next year, even if we do stay, we'll have new freshmen, which will be awesome, and a new team to cultivate. So it's kind of just grieving the loss and then being able to move forward and get excited to cultivate a new team and lead a new team.
What's going to go into your decision-making process to be 100% sure you are coming back?
I really do have to be completely honest, I have to sit down and talk about what the money looks like, what the scholarship looks like, because I know that a master's program is not the same as an undergrad. And so just sitting down with compliance and all of that stuff, that'll go into it a lot. That's pretty much it. And also just like, I think me personally just being ready to say like, I'm ready to like, because I feel like I have to let go of this season before I can say, okay, I'm ready to come back. And like, it's a lot. It's hard to sometimes even like pick up my stick just knowing like this time was lost. Maybe I'm just more emotional about it, but it's been hard. It's hard to lose something so quickly. So I think I am letting go of this season, and then I think soon I'll be ready to say 100% that I'm ready. But yeah.
What have you been doing to stay in shape because of the lockdown?
So our coaches actually set up our own Microsoft Teams like classroom, and she and our coach Breyer, our strength coach, are working together to create programs and just like daily challenges for us to kind of keep a structure. A lot of our team is like very, very structured people, and so they like to have a routine, and our coach knows us really well, so she knows that about us. Me personally, I've kind of been doing a little bit of my own thing. So my teammate Anna Keebler, she's like a fitness guru, and she's been showing me these insanity workouts. I don't know if you guys have ever done them, but they're really, really hard. So I've been doing those like in my living room, and I love running too. So I bought a new pair of running shoes like right after it happened because I knew I'd be running a ton. And that's one of my jams to do. And I'm sure soon enough I'll get back on the wall and just doing wall ball like I love to do.
Anything further for Carly? All right, we appreciate it, Carly. Thanks so much.
Sure.
All right, and lastly, we're going to be joined here by the head softball coach, Todd Richardson, kind enough to join us here for a bit. Coach, big news for you. I'm sure that you're thrilled to hear it. Tell us a little bit about what this means for you and how your roster may or may not look as far as you know right now.
Well, first of all, very blessed to Liberty. Thank you so much, Ian and President Falwell. Erin, with all the work she's been doing with it too, and the NCAA. Very excited. This to me is the right thing. And it's great to know that you're at a university that's doing the right thing and has been blessed to be able to afford to do the right thing. Out of the 4 seniors, we have 2 of them returning. And Amber Bishop has indicated that she will be coming back, as well as Kayla Harris. So we're very excited about that. We wish they all could come back. But what's hard when they're seniors is they have plans that they've already made, into the future. And 2 of them have just decided that they want to continue and move forward with that. But it's going to add a strength, without a doubt, as Coach Jackson said. When you have these returners coming back that are seniors, and I call them super seniors, they're going for their masters. And so they're coming to Liberty to complete it, and Amber was going to start it. So we're really excited about that. And without a doubt, the numbers that are put up by these players are going to make a difference with our team next year.
Questions for Coach Richardson?
Todd, as you look forward through all of this, how have you been handling this with your team, and what were the talks with the seniors who elected not to return that they felt complete with what they did on the college ranks?
Well, I don't know if they're going to feel complete about what they did on the ball field, but I think they feel complete about where they're heading and where God's leading them. I did not press them for a decision quickly. They got to think about it, tried to answer different questions they had. Like, one is, what if I don't want to get a master's, but I'm graduated? What does it look like? Do I want to go to school more? I'm getting married. Am I moving forward? So Autumn was in that situation, Autumn Bishop. Amber is also getting married, but her and her husband future husband, talked a lot about it, and her goal was to get a master's at Liberty. So it worked out well for her. And she definitely felt that her career should not end that way. She wasn't happy with that. She's hitting a .420, 10 home runs, really on fire. And I think just the love of the game. She's excited to be back and have the support of her future husband as well with that. Kayla wanted to finish her master's. And with Kayla as a catcher, you can never have enough catchers. She is getting stronger and stronger. And I see her more as a starting role and a bigger role for her, coming back with the experience that she showed us, and it continues to really kind of lead the catching, the battery, if you would. Has a great connection with Huddy, who is our Caroline Hudson, who is our played most of the action catching. But we're really excited about the 2 coming back. I wish they all could, but I totally understand, and just they were praying a lot about it, and I was not going to twist any of their arms, because it's their life and it's their choice, and they need to make sure that they're going to be all in when they come back, if they did decide to do that.
Coach, maybe you could speak to the seniors that you're losing, and kind of similar with what Coach Jackson said. Have you thought about maybe a way to honor them or something for next season?
Yes, we're actually framing jerseys now and making sure they have it, but we will definitely invite them back, maybe in the fall. If it is the opening season, we could look at that as well, whatever works in their schedule. We're also honoring Taylor Hoffman, who's in law school with us right now. So, this would have been her senior year as well. And so we're definitely going to make sure they get the attention that they deserve. Addison Bailey, we're going to miss her so much in her leadership role on the team. Really, the spiritual background a lot. Her the leader with Bible studies, and just her example to all has just been inspiring. We're going to miss that leadership. With Autumn, we're going to miss her, obviously, with her competitiveness on the team. She's a game changer, and but for her, she felt it's time to move on. So we're going to miss her both offensively, defensively, and just her competitiveness that was contagious on the team.